Good morning. Thank you, Roland. And as Roland said, I'm Martin Coleman from the company Multiplex Engineering. And with me today to jointly present the success that we had in the North Sea arena is Matti Mumbata from Eckardt in Salts. Just to set the scene, the North Sea arena is now becoming operated by a number of new companies. The Shells, the BPs have moved on and are now independent operators. And one of those companies is the company Apache that we had this success with. So I don't know if any of you know the company Apache. No?
I don't think so. Oh.
But just to set the scene, there's a few slides on the company just to give an overview of where they've been, where they're going, to establish the fact that this is by no means a small operator. Whilst they're not, say, the household names of BP and Shell, these are clearly a new company on the block with a number of other companies, and it's great that obviously that we've had this success with them. So just to set the scene, give some details on Apache, what asset they actually purchased and why they actually embarked, or why the opportunity arose in the first instance, the challenge, obviously the background, the solution that we went to them with, obviously with Eckardt and Matti's support, the results from that in terms of the turnover and the sales, and what we see as the benefits were for Apache. So at a glance, whilst we said North Sea, Apache are a global company. They've got assets, as you can see there. I'm not going to talk through them, but clearly they are a major operator, and I think the next slide will indicate some of their turnover when they was established the year before I was born. Hard to believe, I know. But they are, in fact, they probably class themselves as one of the largest independent oil companies in gas exploration currently. So, sizable company, sizable number of employees and assets. And there is a slide, obviously, if someone is keen to go through that and have some further understanding of their business, then that's in the pack for you. But the opportunity, or rather the asset we're talking about, is what was formerly the BP Forties field in the North Sea, which I believe was one of the first fields that went into production in North Sea. So clearly, it's an English expression, long in the tooth. It's old. Probably hasn't had a great deal of money spent on it. BP had felt that that had their best, it had its best days, and decided to sell the asset to Apache. And the Forties field, I think on the next slide we'll give a few details of the platforms that relate to it. So in addition to the Forties field, just recently, in this year in fact, Apache have gone on further to purchase a mature asset from the company Exxon, and that's the Beryl field. And we don't know whether this opportunity might lend itself to being rolled out to any work that they do there. Busy slide. This just gives the geographically positions the platforms of what are Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo within the Forties field. It's 5 production platforms. What Apache did do when they first bought the asset is discovered some untapped resources. I believe the deal that BP has with them, that even though those resources were not discovered by BP still have a revenue from those. But I think in terms of for Apache, it was a substantial reward financially that they discovered these assets. So clearly they had money to spend and were able to embark on their refurbishment program. So the challenge in terms of what Apache wanted to do was to refurbish these platforms. It's an ongoing process, and whilst they posted them in 2003, it's been a number of years to come through with a new DCS, which they had already elected to be Delta V. You may have heard of Emerson, but that's who they chose to go to. And part and parcel of that was renewal of some of the field equipment, refurbishments, and new equipment as well. So they're looking for reliability. They need to up the production, or they need to ensure that the platform is in production as often as possible. I think one of the reasons why BP left it was that production was failing quite frequently, so it wasn't no longer viable for them. So Apache's desire is to up the productivity of the platform, ensure there's no downtime, and clearly roll in the profits. So part of the renewal program, Multiplex as a company were already talking with Apache. We were doing some business with them in a small level with other aspects of what Multiplex do. And it came to light that there was an opportunity for a valve positioner. They was having some issues with the existing vendor. So I think the next slide indicates really sort of the background to that. It was Fisher Fieldview. Apache hadn't necessarily invested in Fisher Fieldview. These were positioners that were there on some of the control valves already, and they were getting a number of failures. They weren't going into the details, but clearly it was something that was taxing them. It was distracting them from just getting on with producing the oil. So it got to the point where they were seriously looking to see if they could fix this issue. And as I say, we were talking to them and doing some business with them, and clearly it lent the opportunity for us to put forward the Eckardt unit for them to evaluate. So we obviously was afforded that opportunity, and like Matty in a moment, we'll take on a few more details of how we got to that evaluation process, what they wanted to see from us in terms of proving the reliability of the Eckardt unit. So this was at the point we was at in 2008, and whilst, say, we'd mentioned the Eckardt positioner, it's all very well saying it will do the job, but Apache, obviously having had the bad experience with Fisher Fieldview, wanted to know for sure, is this the answer to the solution, or is this the answer to the problem they have, and is it going to be an acceptable solution? So this is where us as a company, Multiplex, went to Eckardt. Obviously, we were clearly having a conversation with them anyway, to highlight the fact that this is an opportunity. We need support, we need live demonstrations for Apache to assess the SRD 960, in fact, was the unit that we looked at. So I'll hand over to Matty, because this is the point that he came in. I don't mean the room, I mean came into the process to lend his support.
Plus minus.
That's the
A few words on that slide before. Just a little bit about the background for you to know that we were in contact with Multiplex already before for the 960 also, and the situation is like that. We had a contact with Apache, tried to convince them. As you can imagine, most of the time you have PowerPoints, presentation, phone calls, you convince the customer on the paper, that's one part. But of course, the next step will be to be able to convince them really, a kind of live demo to show them that it will really work. As you can imagine, on an offshore platform, if there is a situation, I mean, in general it's not good, but on the offshore platform is really, I would say, it's damaging for the platform. So what happened actually? We had to go in Aberdeen to Apache to make a live demo presentation. What was interesting actually is that, as you understand from Martin, Emerson was the first choice, and the system is still from Emerson, the Delta V system. And we had to make a joint presentation, if I can say it that way, with Emerson. I was the first surprised arriving there, because they asked, we had to ship all the equipment, everything there, compressor, positioner, okay, all the stuff there. And they say, okay, you will make a demo, but okay, we have a system offshore, it's a Delta V system with AMS, everything, and we want it to work, to be able to do that, and so on. And so we were there on the room, and there was a guy from Emerson coming also. It was a surprise for us. and he had to install all the system. AMS was installed, and we had to give him a file and to install everything with the input, output, seal certified, everything was running. And then we had to make the show, actually to make the demo. So that was the first starting point to convince the customer. And that went good. It was positive, quite positive. We had the positioner, the valve, everything was running. We had a list of specifications that we had to follow. It was a hard positioner to be able to work with Emerson system, to be able to do also diagnostic, additional diagnostic, not only just to control the valve, but they were looking for diagnostic on the AMS side. So that was really the first step, big step that we had with them to convince them. That went quite good, and already after that first meeting, it was, I would say, so positive that they already started to talk about specification, a standard product, a standard positioner for us. And the next step was for us to supply a trial unit to be installed on the valve via multiplex and to go offshore. So that was the next step. So offshore trial unit with very good results. So working very well and very good results. We had 2 positioners running on a alpha platform, one of the 40s platform, and the Delta platform. So to the end, what came out, what was one of the specifications was to have a standard device, a standard positioner on shelf on the platform to cover all the needs, to be able to be mounted on all type of valves, of actuator, and to cover all their needs. So options, all the possibility. And that came out. So that was the SRD 960, our EXD positioner, that you can see also on the top floor, running on demo. And that has been designed as a standard. So nowadays it's standardized by Apache, so it's a standard positioner, mandatory for Apache for every valve, for every valve revamping. Okay, there's a picture of the choke valves via multiplex that has been supplied to Apache. You have to know that there is now, it's already starting in 2008, a refurbishment program running. As you understand, those 40s platforms are very, quite old BP platform, very old. And now Apache had to do the refurbishment program, and it's running right now. So we are talking from those 5 platforms to be equipped with positioners. And also, as you understand, they have a new platform, they bought new platform also, and there will also be concern in the future for the revamping program. So it's ongoing right now. What's the situation is now? We have on 2 platforms, we have positioner running, installed, fully running there, and we are looking in the next month and next year, to go for the 3 other platforms. That will be the first step, to go on the 540s platform. And after that, eventually, to extend to the barrel. A requirement additionally, with the time, we had additional requirement from Apache about additional tools, possibilities, not only to have a standard positioner for the control valves, but to be able also to be mounted on a chokes valve. As you can see it on the picture, actually is a special actuator to be able not to move a quarter turn, as is the standard way, is a 180-degree rotation. So that's also something additionally that was requested by Apache. So we are quite flexible, and we show that flexibility from the beginning to Apache, that we have a standard positioner, but we are really able to do more, I would say, to have options, possibility for 180-degree rotation, and eventually more. Okay, how does it look like offshore in details? We have approximately 300 positioner installed on Alpha and Delta platform, and most of them are on Alpha platform installed. So the other platform, the 3 other platforms that are called Bravo, Charlie, and Echo are not revamped now. The program will start later on, but what happened actually now already, they have on-shelf spare positioner in case there will be a failure from our competition, from Emerson, that is still running there. So, and it's mandatory before the program started actually there to start already the replacement of the positioner. So it's quite positive, and the potential that we saw are for the 5 platforms in the coming months. So we talk, as I say, from 300 positioner on mainly on alpha platform that was fully revamped now. So 250 positioner per platform, so times 5 that we have to calculate, plus the potential that we could have on the burial platforms. So if I can summarize, the benefits for them was to have one reference on stock, one positioner, to be able to cover all their needs. Of course, the full compatibility with the existing system, that was quite important for them, not to change the system because they have invested in the system, so they want to keep all functionalities with their running system from the Delta V system, and not to have to change something. That was quite highly specified by them. Okay, the support, as you can imagine, if the position of the valves are running offshore and there is a situation, something wrong, the support, I would say, is highly important in that case. So it was not only the support from us, from Eckardt, that's one part for the support, but of course, to have locally a support and a possibility for someone to go, to fly over very quickly on the platform and to give really support them on the positioner, eventually on the valve also. That was where Multiplex also stepped in on that part of the support. And additionally to that, there is also the flexibility. You have to understand in details that when we talk from positioner, it's automatically coupled to the valve, to the actuator. And in that case, you have to be really flexible for them physically on site if there is a situation to mount the positioner everywhere. So that sounds quite easy, but it's still a very important point to be flexible and to provide that attachment kit to the actuator. So that's a very important point, even if it sounds quite simple like that. And of course, money is also a thing that we need to take in consideration, and Apache also. It was due to the fact that in the past they have experienced a lot of partial shutdown situation due mainly to the positioners, and that was very important for them also to reduce that and to avoid actually those, because it costs of course a lot of money if something like that arrive on a platform. Okay, pictures on that. On the Alpha platform, the small story was that the positioners are running there, are installed on the platform, and once we were requested to be on the platform, to fly over there on the platform, they had a stop actually, a stop for I think 3 weeks or 4 weeks stop they had, and they asked us to come just before the startup, also to make a training, but physically on the platform to the people that are on the platform, and eventually to be there to assist them, I would say like that. And that was on the Alpha platform, and I have to fly there myself with a colleague also, so to make all the Bossier training before, the helicopter survival training for me the first time. And we had to fly there over the platform and to provide the training locally to the team, to the instrumentation team there, the night shift, the day shift, and we were actually 5 days on the platform to provide training. It was not that easy because everyone was occupied, running everywhere, so we had to find spots. That was really positive, and we had also the possibility to work over the whole platform, to access to the positioner, and so with them, as you can see there, and to talk, to explain all the tricks and all the possibilities, and also to stroke the valves with them. So that was a very, everything came very positively out from them. It was 80 positioner that was newly installed from them. We talked from 300, so it was 80 new positioner installed there. And the startup went very good. Everything was positive. The feedback was very good. There was no big situation actually, apart a small configurations issue on the device. Maybe you have noticed something. Maybe I will highlight it. We anticipate the questions already. The positioner that you see on the picture is the 960 that we have installed on the platform for them as standard. You will ask maybe why why it's not in stainless steel, and that was also one part for us to convince the customer about that, because the first request was, as you can imagine, we want a stainless steel positioner. That's standard. That's how it should be. And so we had really to talk to the customer to explain like that to the customer, that we had a program also on our side to go in that direction. And this positioner is also, from outside, looks, I would say, basic, but is a special also, I would say, we had additional work invested in the positioner to cover requirements that they have on offshore, to be resistant offshore. And additionally to that, Apache had also, on their platform, most of the valves are also installed indoor. I would say that was also another, I would say, positive point for us to be able to go for the standard positioner and not for the stainless steel version for the EXD that we do not have right now.